everybody, welcome to another edition of Flames Unfiltered with your hosts, Kyle Lewis and Brad Burud, as always. Brad, what has happened this week?
Not much. We're getting close to Olympic break.
Very. Yeah, we're officially into February now.
We only got 2 more games left and 2 fun games against Canadian rivals, so that's going to be fun, but then we get a little break. And, you know, I've been complaining about the Olympic break. I don't like it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe after the Olympics, I'll say it was awesome, right? It just seems excessively long.
I guess it depends on what we come back to, right? I mean, is there a chance we might see Sam Honzik on the other side of the break, or is he still quite a ways out?
Have not heard.
Yeah, I've not heard anything about him in a while. That's the first thing I thought. Like, who is not? And Zane Parekh. I don't know if we'll see him play this week or not, but you got to think he'll be back in the lineup when we return.
Hey, I was watching. Before I forget, I was watching a documentary today. The St. Louis Blues, which is a weird selection for a documentary, but it was about the potential move to Saskatoon, and it was an interesting documentary, and really how close that move was, and how the funding and the season tickets were all in order. And I didn't know that Ralston, which is like a dog food company, owned the Blues at the time.
Mm-hmm. I think I did know that one.
And they were selling it to the guy that actually was like in charge of the WHL back when the merger happened. And it got nixed because the NHL was butthurt about the merger back then and how much money it cost them to have to merge with the WHA. So it got nixed simply because of that, because logistically every other thing was in place. Well, I didn't know this, but the Ralston company was so pissed off that the NHL nixed their sale because they wanted out of the team, that they didn't even draft players in the 1983 draft. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, no.
I did not know that. It's the only time in the history of hockey that it's happened. But they just flat out said, we're not even coming. We're not doing anything with the team anymore. You took our sale away. There you go. We rid ourselves of the problem. We're walking away. And they basically left the franchise hung out to dry for 2 months, and the league had to take over ownership and sell it.
Yeah.
And they did not draft players in the 1983 draft. Interesting.
That's wild. It's also wild to think that it was ever a possibility that a pro sports franchise would move to Saskatoon.
I mean, they had supposedly 18,000 season tickets sold.
That's wild.
It is. It's wild.
That's not a big city at all. That's crazy.
No, but see, I'm fairly familiar with it because it's in my region, I guess you'd say. Regina and Saskatoon feed off each other so much, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders are who they are because those two feed off each other that much. And I don't know what would have happened, but they even had a like $20 million 20-year contract with Molson as a sponsor too. I mean, they had a lot of things in place that really make it surprising that it didn't go through.
I wonder where they would have got moved to from Saskatoon had that move taken place. I can tell you that in the late 90s that the Canadian dollar, I mean, as much as it hurt the Flames and Oilers, it damn near killed them, and it would have killed a team like Saskatoon, I got to believe.
Yeah, and the thing is also too, Edmonton and Calgary were pretty large reasons why the team didn't go there too. They were doing everything they could to block it.
Well, that's why it was so hard. Like when Balsillie wanted to move it was the Coyotes to Hamilton, Ontario. Hamilton's essentially a suburb of Toronto.
Yeah, but Toronto could hold. I mean, I still believe Toronto could. I mean, if New York City does two NHL teams or 3 NHL teams, so can, and Toronto could hold 2. I think. I don't.
Well, I think so too. What I struggle with is like if I'm like a diehard Leafs fan, like how do I switch, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. But there's a lot of Toronto people that are Buffalo fans too. I mean, it might have impacted Buffalo more than Toronto, to be honest with you.
Well, considering how the Sabres were terrible for as long as they were,
yeah,
Although they were good at that time, back when that was going on.
Although the timing is quite ironic that there'd probably be a lot of Toronto fans changing over today.
Oh man, looking at it's funny. I guess we'll kind of get into some Flames related stuff. I mean, but you're seeing a lot of micro-analysis of Brad Treliving's tenure as Maple Leafs GM, and that's causing a lot of our fan base to discuss his tenure as Flames GM. And the guy doesn't have much of a record, in terms of.
And I'm surely not defending him, but when you have leaders like, I don't know, I watch Matthews and I'm like, that guy's not a leader to me.
Well, I hear that all the time, and I have to admit, as much as I think it's really overblown and not a big deal about Nylander like flipping the bird to the camera.
Oh yeah,
it's also a sign of just incredulous immaturity that's really hard to defend.
It is. It's totally a sign, and I mean it tells you about the person's character, right? It just does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, like it's like I work for a decent sized company, and I'm always very cognizant of, even if I go to an event, like the appropriate amount to drink and not get sloppy and not make stupid remarks and keep things confidential that you need to. And like to do something like that, it's like on national television. It's like, man, like, what are you doing? Like, and now you're hearing Elliot Friedman talk about the Leafs are calling other teams to see what's out there for potential deals. And it's gonna be interesting to see what happens then, because they're very terribly constructed. Because somebody actually said, it was yesterday, like, who has a better chance, I think, of making that, going on a run to make the playoffs, the Jets or the Leafs? I'm like, clearly the Jets, because the Jets are a way better constructed team.
I'm a little surprised at the Jets, and I mean, we can talk about this now. I wanted to touch on this later on in the show. We'll just do it now. I'm a little surprised when you pull up the standings, there's a lot of really surprising things and teams that are doing really good that we didn't expect to, and teams that are not. I didn't see the Seattle Kraken in third in the Pacific. I didn't see Winnipeg, like we just talked about, out of the playoffs. I do think that I can't help but believe there isn't going to be a run in them. I did not see the Vancouver Canucks as the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
Flipping to the East, I didn't see the Atlantic Division to be Tampa, Detroit, Montreal. I didn't see 1, 2, 3 there. I surely didn't see Pittsburgh in second in the Metro. I didn't see Buffalo where they're at, which I'm super happy, because you know what? I watched them last night. That's a fun hockey team to watch. They're a good hockey team.
Yeah, we've been closeted Sabres fans for a while. I think for me, part of it's geography, but also the fact that I've got some really good friends that are Sabres fans, and God knows they deserve some sort of good.
They really.
The thing in Winnipeg, though, and I'll touch on this briefly, like losing Ehlers, it's almost like you have like a 30-40 goal scorer, and you're bringing in a guy that'll pot like maybe 10 to 20 into Gustav Nyquist, and he has no goals this year.
Yeah.
He's been abysmal, and that just creates, you never expect him to be Ehlers, but that whole goals by committee to eat up that difference has not happened for them whatsoever.
It just puts extra pressure, right? And I still think it's a good franchise. I like him on the back end too. I think it's a good team. I'm interested to see what happens there.
Well, because of their contract situations too. If they don't go on a bit of a run ahead at the deadline after the break, really, then they are going to have to look at a proper retool. And I say retool in their case because they have Connor, Hellebuck, and Scheifele, and I think Morrissey all on long-term deals, right?
Yep.
So it's not like you can just divest yourself of that many big contracts.
The thing that's going to be weird about this, Kyle, is that like a lot of teams now have 2 games remaining before break. And then when they come back, they have like 3, and then we have trade deadline. It's literally coming that quick. I believe trade deadline is March 6th. We don't come back from the Olympic break until, let me just pull up the date here. We don't come back from the Olympic break till February 25th.
Wow. That's a long ass break.
It is. It's 21 days for the Calgary Flames. 21 days.
Well, the good news, I guess, is that that'll allow guys like Blake Coleman to heal up, and we've already heard that he's not going to be playing prior to the break in either of their 2 remaining games. So, and I mean, the other good news around that is that the team's direction is not at all muddy or murky. It's very clear.
Were you surprised? Like, they kept telling, like, when Coleman first was injured, they said it was very minor, and then it was all of a sudden upper body on IR. Then it sounded like he was back skating with the no contact jersey. Looked like he was days away, and then all of a sudden Huska says no, he's not playing until after the break. And it's like, my initial thought was, Are they protecting him to try to make a move?
I think so. Doesn't mean that anything's imminent, but I think it's like, you know what? Why chance him getting hurt again? Then you can't do anything with him, right?
Yeah.
And what is he going to do when he's in the lineup? Help us win games? That's the last thing we want right now.
I think it's funny though, because I like a lot of the talk on Coleman is really quiet. I haven't heard any rumblings lately at all. Have you?
No, but I will tell you, he's a February player on my Flames calendar.
He is your calendar guy this week.
Yeah, this month. Yeah.
Or this month.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens to him. I'm still 50-50 on whether or not he gets moved because, I think, Robert Munich had mentioned, you have to have some good leaders around. And he made a case for maybe hanging on to Ryan Lomberg throughout this rebuild, this rebiggle.
I want Lomberg gone.
I know you do. I mean, again, it depends on usage, though. I don't mind having him around if he doesn't play all the time, like we've said 100 times on the show. But
I know, but
we'll see.
I know. I just think I guess we'll see where it takes us. I have a real hard time re-signing this guy after, like, I don't know. I'm tired of this franchise just being like, well, he's a good locker room guy. I'm tired of that phrase.
Yeah. Well, they apparently have the best one in the league now, it's Zach Whitecloud, who may also get moved. But also worth noting that both teams have sucked since that trade.
Yeah,
they've been terrible. Yeah, and I really, Calgary, it's not surprising. Vegas, it is, but I really think taking Whitecloud out of their locker room actually did do some damage to them. There's a lot of big egos in that room, right? Eichel, Marner, Stone. Say nothing of those guys' character, but when you're that good of a hockey player at the pro level, and there are a few stories about a couple. I mean, you got to think that you need a glue guy like Whitecloud in there to balance everybody out. But I don't know. I don't mind watching let Vegas lose, and I love it. So
it's really interesting when you think about like what is really best for the Flames, and as much as I feel like we can flip Whitecloud and get a pretty healthy return, and if we do, I guess I'm not going to be like upset, but I also sit and I wonder that maybe this guy is a guy we want to keep.
Yeah, only if it's at the expense of somebody else. There's too many defensemen, right? So
yeah, but we can't just. I hate to say this. I know I don't want to get into first round draft syndrome. Like, we just can't come. Parekh just can't come in and be like, "Here's your spot."
Doesn't have to be Parekh though. Brstevich is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, well, Brstevich should not lose his spot to Parekh right away, but I'm afraid that's what's going to happen.
There's just too many with the emergence of Kuznetsov in particular. Like, I don't. Yeah, but I mean, you get Bean, you get who's obviously hurt. There's Bean, there's Hanley, there's Bahal. Like, there's just all these guys that are like 5'6", and it's like, okay, like, we can slot somebody into a 5'6" spot like one of the guys you just mentioned, right? I still think there's too many. One or two of them got to go.
Oh, I'm with you. I agree. And as much as I'm probably the president of the Pahal fan club, but I don't see him making it through this. I don't see Hanley making it through this, and I sure as hell better not see Bean make it through this.
What did Bean sign? Has he got one more year after this?
Oh, you were going to ask that. So let me pull it up here. I
can't remember. I feel like he does.
I believe he has one more year. Let me look. He is on the injured. Just further down here. He is, yes, one more year.
Yeah, I'll probably get buried in the AHL, honestly.
Oh, I take that back. He's a UFA.
Oh,
him. Yes, Kirkland, him, Lomberg and Miramanov are UFAs. Yep. So that's good. That's good. And I'm not trying to be difficult on Parekh, but like, I mean, his conditioning stint is done. He's been recalled by the Flames. His conditioning stint went well. He had 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points in 4 games.
Yep.
But I also saw him get completely leveled again.
Did you see Evan Bouchard get walked last night
by
Brock Faber? Oh, it's terrible. And I mean, as a Flames fan, it's easy to pick on the Oilers, but yeah. That's the thing, though. That's kind of I know it's part of the trade-off. It's part of the growth, but these offensive-minded defensemen are going to be abysmal defensively on occasion, unless you're a Nick Lidstrom or Ray Bork.
But do they have to be, though?
You know,
You see what I'm saying though? Like, is
yeah,
it?
in a sense, I think so to a point,
Well,
but
they're
that's
going
where it
to take
becomes,
risks, so I'm
yeah.
fine with the risks. But if you're just getting walked, it doesn't. That just means you suck.
Well, in that moment, at least.
I don't, okay, so let me throw this back in. I can't believe I'm defending him because I rarely do. But Quinn Hughes is probably exactly what we want Zane Parekh to be, right? I don't.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, is not what we want? We want an offensive-minded defenseman that.
We're talking solely about on the ice, then yes, I agree.
Yeah, okay, but so I rarely see Quinn Hughes get walked. I see Evan Bouchard get walked every night.
Wow. I don't watch them enough to know if it's every night, but wow, yeah. It does come with the territory. It's just the ability to rein it in. I think also have a reliable partner who you can count on to have your back, so to speak. Which is why, again, I see a guy like Kevin Ball, who's been just arguably the Flames MVP this season.
He's our best defenseman by a mile.
He might be our best player this year. Michael Backlund's up there too, of course. But Ball has been, now that he's kind of figured out that he's huge and sort of using that to his advantage, he's been just a monster.
It's hard to argue with you on that. I probably would say he is probably our best player this year.
Yeah, but
I love what we get with him, but I'm really interested to see. And I know like Brustevich sat out of the lineup last night, and I understand the reasoning why, so he can be eligible to be sent to the AHL during the Olympic break. So I know Brustevich is going to get sent down, but I'm going to be pretty upset if he doesn't come back up and go right back into his spot that he's earned.
Oh, I think that he will. I don't think it's really deniable at this point. But again, you never know. They might say, screw it, I'm going to play the guys they have and hope the Wranglers can go on a bit of a run. But the smart thing to do is get as much NHL experience as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Parekh thing, it's going to take some time. I mean, I'm not particularly worried about him, but again, it's a process for sure.
I'm not worried about his offensive talent. I'm worried about him physically. He's just not ready for the NHL.
Yeah. It's hard to argue at this point.
And that's not a knock on him. It's his physical structure. But, you know, this is a guy, and I know this wasn't in the cards, but this is a guy that probably needed to go play NCAA hockey for a couple years, play against guys bigger and stronger, and be at a university where they have the facilities for him to get bigger and stronger and the time to get bigger and stronger. I don't know. I mean, I know that wasn't in the cards, but so you can't, I guess, wish for impossibles, but he's not physically ready. I'm not saying he's not offensively ready. I'm going to be interested to see. I got a good feeling he's going to be playing tomorrow night against Toronto.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, there's a good chance. I mean, especially with the break coming up, right? Like I said, they might just decide to keep him out and let him rest up a little more, but doesn't matter now. The season is a lost one as far as the standings go. I mean, it should all be about player development. So hopefully those decisions factor in, which is, we've already seen some of the benefits of it, i.e., Gridden's goal against San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be seeing a lot of that. I know everybody was smiling when they saw that one. Another thing we need to touch on for sure, because he played his best game maybe in the NHL in that game against San Jose, was Morgan Frost.
Yeah, he did. He was really, really good last night.
Yeah, I've thoroughly, and I like, we've talked about him so many times in terms of he looks like he's one step away from finding that next offensive level. And he even admitted in post game in his interview, that that's always been a struggle, is finding that consistency. But man, if he finds it, I mean, that might solve part of the center problem going forward. Or he's a hell of a trip too, potentially.
I mean, I don't know if I'm ready to give up on him. I guess if we move him before deadline, I'm not going to be like totally disappointed, but I've been very frustrated with him this year because he's a guy, like when we watched him last year too, and then even more this year, it's like he's on the verge every night of having like a breakout night, and he hits the post more than any player I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, and his best friend, Joel Farabee, now leads the NHL in shorthanded goals. How about that? Who had that in the bingo card?
I don't think anybody did they?
Pretty easy to say that trade was a win for us, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pelche is having a hard time. He just got recalled by Tampa. I don't know if he's playing the indoor game today, and then Kuzmenko I haven't heard anything about him in months. I presume he did his usual disappearing act with the Kings, but
yeah, I haven't heard. That's a good point. I haven't heard a word on him at all.
Let's see what we can find out about our old Czy, not to be confused with Kuznetsov, our new Czy. God, there was something else up on that vein. Oh yeah. Actually, not a bad season. 11 goals and 10 assists in 48 games, 21 points, and it's only -3.
It's not bad. Would he be leading the Flames? Oh God, did I say
He'd
that?
be tied with like Frost. He'd be right in that same area. So the biggest, I guess, surprise or the most important news from a prospect perspective, you know where I'm going with this, I'm sure, is the NCAA leading scorer.
Yeah, Gavin McKenna.
Yeah, right? No, Wittenbach. The hell's going on there? Who saw that coming?
I heard he won the first ever winner of the Johnny Gaudreau Award too.
Yeah, and the comparisons, and that's obviously tremendous praise, but the comparisons have gone on for a little bit now, but I don't think anybody expected him to, go off the way that he has.
No, I don't think so either.
Yep. 5th round pick, draft steal 2 weeks ago from the Calgary Herald, right?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he is a guy that cracks the lineup here in the next few years. Well, I guess time will tell, but it's a jump up, right?
Well, 9 points in his last 5 games, or 16 in his last 10. Man, the Flames have a lot of good luck with Americans, though, eh? Always have, when you think about it back in the history.
They have had, Dustin Wolf. They've had a lot.
Good Gaudreau, Tkachuk, Hannafin was a good Flame.
Yep.
Obviously in the 80s with Joey Mullen. Just always, and Gary Suter.
Yep. They've had a lot. They've had a run of them, haven't they?
Matt Coronado, of course.
Yeah.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention him. So anyway, yeah, it's awesome to see. And again, this is one of the arguments I had in Export recently. It's about you can only have so many prospects. It's only so much. It's like, yeah, I get all that, but all of these pieces have a part to play. Whether they make the Flames, they get traded when the Flames are ready to contend to bring in a veteran piece like the ones we're currently getting rid of. You just don't know, right? So,
no, we don't.
But it is hard to watch. Like, I think both games this week are 8 p.m. Mountain starts, which is 11 o'clock here, and it's like, if this is a playoff race, I'll take a nap and watch them. But where it's not, I'll have to watch them the next day or watch the highlights, right?
It's late for you.
Oh, it's stupid, especially with the industry that I'm in. It's stupid late, but anyway.
I gotta get your thoughts on Kadri and where we're going with this.
Who knows at this point? He's obviously said he's open to a trade. It's kind of obvious when you watch him play that his time in Calgary is done.
But if we're able to move him, I don't think the return is going to be good. And I'm not sure I'm going to be upset. And the part that I keep going back to is if we don't move him, he's a piece on our team for quite some time now, or that's going to be for quite a bit more year. What is it? 3 more years? He's taking a spot. He's going to be taking a spot from one of the guys we want. He's going to be taking Reshny's spot.
Yeah, possibly. This is the best opportunity to move him for sure. I don't know what the return would necessarily look like at one point, like a year ago, it would have been huge. If you could factor in those, that potential salary retention and that sort of thing. But now, you get a B-level prospect in a second-round pick, I'd take it.
Dallas has been rumored. I know Elliot Friedman said that there's a problem there, though. They got to sort out the Robertson situation, and they have uncertainty there. So that's really tough for Dallas to be making a move on it right now because they have uncertainty. Montreal has been rumored. That's probably the most likely spot. Carolina's also been rumored, but it just, I don't know. After hearing the panel last night on Sportsnet, I was just like, to me, it sounded less likely than likely that Kadri gets moved.
I think it's too early to say. After the break, that's when it'll heat up big time. Somebody's going to, because of the way Cgy plays and the way he can play, somebody's going to make a play for him, and then hopefully another team says, we want him too, and that'll push the trade into a little bit more of a favorable position for the Flames. But I think there has to be willingness on their part to retain a bit.
Oh, for sure.
With that last spot, and that's going to be a requirement just by any of the teams you mentioned, but also just they got to divest themselves, because reality is we already got one roster spot that's tied up forever with Jonathan Huberdeau.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of this. I think is that a lot of people are not thinking about is that is a spot that he's gonna be playing. So whether he's good or bad at age 38, he's playing. So
somebody outside the Flames fan base posted this thing was yesterday on X. It was like, the downfall of Jonathan Huberdeau needs to be studied. He's only 32. It's not like he's 37 or 38.
Mm-hmm.
It really is remarkable. And even last year when he kind of reinvented himself as a little bit of a power forward, it's like, once again, this year, it's like, I just don't think he's comfortable, in Calgary.
I don't know what it is. He looks slow.
Yeah, very, very. Anyway, so we're going to be stuck with that one. Another one that I figured I wouldn't say stuck with, but that I thought we would be dealing with forever, we may not, is Cgy Weegar.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised. There are rumors and I guess the talk that's been floating around this week with Ottawa and stuff. And I don't know. What are your thoughts there?
I like Weegar a lot. I've been very disappointed in his play this year for the most part. His offense has been almost non-existent, and defensively has left a fair bit to be desired. But still a phenomenal defenseman and, proud Ottawa kid. I definitely see him being a fit as a veteran mentor in the Senators. And they have definitely some desirable prospects, but I think a lot of us often thought that Weegar would probably be the next captain of the Flames after Backlund. But I mean, if the trade's right, you make it, quite honestly.
Is Zach Whitecloud the next Flames captain?
Yeah, if he ends up sticking around, he certainly could be.
So many things that get sorted out. I mean, if we move Weegar, then we surely want to keep Whitecloud. If we move Whitecloud, they're pretty tough to be moving Weegar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Something's going to have to give there, but it's always interesting to me when like a trade pops up and nobody really saw it as a possibility. And I think back to Weber for Subban and how wild that was.
I'll never forget that day.
I don't think anybody will. And then the whole it's 1-for-1, and people are like, what the hell? And thought that I would have thought Montreal was getting fleeced, and that turned out to be dead wrong. But anyway, it was not that it's on the same scale by any means, but a Weegar trade would be a big one, especially for a guy that seems to be all in on the Flames, wears a letter a lot of the time. He's been a part of some of the promotional videos for the new arena and the construction phase of it. Like he's all around the community. But again, if the trade makes sense, and I really think he's a piece that could put Ottawa to the next level, especially if Allmark's return is as good as it appeared to be in his first game back.
There's been a lot of talk this week about a lot of different players, and another player that's been mentioned around the league more probably than in Calgary, but it brings us to our X factor thing and got me thinking about young centers. And that comes from Sportsaholic. He says, according to sources, center Shane Wright is looking to be traded from the Kraken. The Flames should be in on this. There's still a lot of untapped potential at just 22 years old. I started thinking about it, and I know what my thoughts are, but I can't wait to hear what you think on this one.
I saw this, and when I think about it, I always come back to an example like Trevor Zegras, right? The guy who got traded, was given up on, so to speak, or just needed to change of scenery and went off. And I honestly think the same thing would happen with Shane Wright. I think he desperately needs a change of scenery. And because Calgary is so flush with prospects, I would make the trade. What would you do?
I've seen that zero things from Shane Wright since he's joined the Kraken that has got me excited. I don't know. I might be totally wrong, right? We need centers. So I guess I wouldn't be upset. My fear is, are we enamored with this because he's a first rounder? I know I always go back to that, but I don't want to get burned.
Yeah, largely, yes. But on the flip side, there's a reason he's a first rounder, right? And you just don't know. And again, if you're in a position where it's not like the Leafs where you trade what few assets you have for futures to bring in a player that might pan out, like what they did with Brandon Carlo, right? Like look at Fraser Minton in Boston. Oof, yeah. That looks bad for them.
So let's take this a step further, though, Kyle. What would we have to give to get him, do you think?
Well, it's hard to recoup a first rounder for a first rounder that hasn't panned out. I think they'd want a second and somebody from our prospect pool.
So would we be better off just taking our bet on our second round pick than him?
Not necessarily, because I think there's still some NHL experience there. And I've seen the situation many times with that player. It's like they just need to change the scenery and they can do something more. And that's just a hunch that I have. But I've seen enough to think that, yeah, like, bring him in, take a chance on him. I don't like it. Again, it depends on the return, but I don't think it would be a ton. But Calgary has a ton to work with.
Oh, we definitely have the draft picks, and we have what they want, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm a little leery because it's like I don't want to give up Rostevich. I'm not giving up Parekh.
Oh no, I'm not giving up either one of those two for this.
No,
guy.
And I'm not.
You giving Connor Zary for this guy?
I haven't given up on Zary, but that's an interesting trade. Zary's showing more at the NHL level.
That's what I mean.
Sure. But I don't know. And then the other guys I mentioned, like Wittenbach, can't touch him. Honzik, brutal injury. And I did just check that earlier, as I failed to recall he is out for the year. Shoulder surgery, I think it was. But anyway, whatever the case, if there's a trade to be made, I would be very interested in bringing in Shane Wright, because the idea of having a reclamation project in Calgary versus all the ones that, Sam Bennett, Mark Savard, the guys, and Savard was a good player when he was in Calgary, but the guys that we gave up on, that went on to be stars, Conn Smythe winners, top 5 NHL scoring leaders in the past, or at least top 10 in Savard's case, like, that's really hard to do, and I'd just like to be on the right side of it just once. Maybe that's why I want to do it.
So if they said we want a second rounder for it, I would say done.
100%.
But if they want like a second rounder and then one of our prospects, I would have a hard go on it, because then I'm like, well, it's kind of like throwing darts. Like, I'll take my chances throwing 2 darts than their 1 dart that hasn't shown anything so far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'm not sure who else would be a center with a first round pedigree, so to speak, is going to be sought after by everyone, but not many teams have the assets to make that trade, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'd be interesting for sure. It'd be really interesting.
Cooley and Wolf have both played well lately, in my mind. I know Wolf's had a couple struggles, but they've flip-flopped games, 10 games in a row. Is that surprising to you?
It would have been at the start of the year, but then after Cooley, despite a terrible training camp, went off and has been the best backup in the league, and I don't think it's particularly close, combined with a little bit of an erratic season from Wolf, and I mean that with all due respect, because it's sophomore slump. The team sucks. It wasn't realistic to expect him to be that good again, although he generally has been very good. So it was surprising at first, but the way Cooley's played now, it's not.
Yeah. No, I think it's smart. I think it is. I think it's really smart, because what we're doing is we're building confidence in Cooley, and we're giving Wolf a manageable workload. And I think because of it, I don't know, I've been super happy with the way both of them have played lately. So it's just interesting to me, because quite honestly, with the way our coach Huska has been with roster management lately, I guess I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, his prerogative is still trying to win games, right? And both goalies give the team a chance to do that. I don't love his, and I've said this often as you have as well, again, like, this personnel management is certainly not the best, but I'm okay with it. I like Devin Cooley a lot. I really like the contract he signed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to think about it, if White Cloud ends up sticking around with what little he makes, and Cooley's going to be one of the cheapest backups in the league, like, they're really positioning themselves with some players on the bottom part of the roster, at least salary wise, and allow these other guys that'll probably need, or hopefully need, big raises in a few years, that they should have lots of room to do it.
Yeah. What did you think of the Martin Pospisil hit last night in San Jose, or against San Jose?
It's the same old borderline shit we always get with him, right?
I don't think it's shit. I love it.
Oh, I love the way he plays, but I mean, when I watched, I watched a couple times. I'm like,
you know,
it wasn't that bad, but it could have been. I mean, but that's the way he's always going to play. That's how he's effective, right?
Do you know what I thought though last night? If they call the Klapka when he gets hit from behind 20 seconds earlier,
Yeah.
If they call that, none of that happens.
Did you get scared though, as I always do with when there's a scrum that Pospisil's in?
Yes, I'm scared all the time. I'm scared every time Possible's on the ice.
Okay, I'm not that bad, but yeah.
Like I love the way he plays, but I had a buddy in college who was playing college hockey at the time at the university, and he had numerous concussions, and he just always would say to me, "My brain's scrambled eggs," and he was one hit, he was one hit away, and it was always worrisome. And even when he finished his college career and played senior men's with me, you don't hit in senior men's, but stuff happens, right? And
yeah,
even through that, he was always just like, I'm one play away from being done. And I'm not saying Possibles is at that, because I honestly, we none of us know the severity of it, but he's had numerous concussions, and it's scary. And a head injury affects you for the rest of your entire life. And we went through that with Furland, and I would hate to see that happen to Pospisil. And last night I thought the hit was a penalty. I thought it was borderline. I do think the player turned a little bit at the last second.
Yep, I agree with that.
And thus I think that's the reason why it was only a 2-minute penalty.
Have you read about Johan Franzen's post-career struggles in retirement?
I have not. No.
Oh, it's terrible. Terrible. Fighting depression, a lot of concussion-related issues. It's a real travesty. And you can go a step further with a lot of the enforcers, who took their own lives and that kind of thing, being the more severe examples. But yeah, there's no doubting the severity of brain trauma when it comes to guys like Pospisil playing that way. Like, I didn't think he'd be back this year, to be honest. I'm glad that he is, but
I didn't either, Kyle. I think both of us had kind of written him off, didn't we? I mean, we both did. Yeah. I love the style he plays. He works his ass off. He's not afraid to go into any situation, and I think he helps this team be a better hockey team.
Absolutely does. And when it comes to the fact that the Flames are, not mistaken, dead last in speed bursts per 60 in the NHL, Pospisil is one of the few who has those bursts, man. When he gets going in a straight line, look out.
Oh, and he's a wrecking ball. And once in a while he'll pot a goal here and there, and he's a guy that gets the job done for you, and he can win some faceoffs once in a while too in some key situations. Speaking of which, I feel that this is a spot. We talked about Morgan Frost earlier in his night he had last night. Have you seen what he is in the faceoff circle lately? This guy is winning draws.
Yep. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. No, that's him and Fairby have both been really good Flames. They disappear for stretches, of course, but yeah, that was remember how excited we both were that January night when that trade happened, which actually I think was a day or two ago, was the 1-year anniversary.
Yeah. Seriously. Oh, before I get to that, he's 55.6% on the season right now, which is very, very, very good.
Jeez, that's approaching like Yannick Perreault numbers. Wow.
Yeah. No, that night, I was planning for some future summer or special episodes we have coming up, and one of them, an idea I had was memorable nights for the Flames, games. And that game last year, I don't even remember who we were playing. I think it was Anaheim. Like, we literally spent the whole night watching that game and just watching the trade come to us, and it was so damn fun.
Yeah, and it was a slow year for trades too, so that made it all the more exciting.
It was fun. It was really, really fun.
I still hated losing Peltier. I still hope he sticks to the NHL at some point, but
you loved him. Who was the other guy you loved so much? The little guy that went on waivers and has never been seen since.
Oh, Matthew Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
I just loved him because I felt he never got a chance, and it's kind of like what Rory Cairns is becoming, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of what I can see William Stromgren becoming too. These guys are going to get lost in the shuffle the more seasons go by.
I feel like that happens in every franchise, though, don't you think?
I don't know. I don't pay enough attention to the other ones.
I know that, and I always say that too. Like, I always get when I'm super frustrated with the Flames, I always sit and go, "God, does every fan base see these little things and get frustrated with their coach, or do they?" Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm always wondering, gosh, do they? But I'm not in the intertwine like we are with the Flames, where we're
don't got time for it, right? That's the thing. Like,
no.
I was talking to my not to get political, but talking to a buddy of mine about like all the Alberta BS and the separatist, and it's a very, very small part of the population. But when they talk about like if they weren't going to be part of Canada anymore, it's like would I still be a Flames fan if they were like independent or something? Like it just changes, the whole history in a way, right? So it's just it's funny the way it plays in your mind. It's kind of like when you said if they went to Houston, it's like, you're just full stop done. I don't think it'd be quite like that for me, but it would definitely be hard,
I'd be done just because, I mean, with that, I'd be done if they went to Houston just because of it would be so different. It would be so different, right?
It's going to be hard too for these, not to go off on that tangent, but these teams these fan bases to go through that. I mean, I'm in Quebec City for a week in May, and man, I wish they had a hockey team.
Yeah.
Actually, a buddy of mine sent me a picture today of a Curtis Lecision Quebec Nordiques game worn jersey that he has, and it's just like tattered, but it's just so cool, right? Like, anyway,
I don't know. I don't think Quebec City will ever get a team again. I'm not saying that I don't wish they would, because I think there's some built-in rivalries that would be amazing, right? So,
well, I mean, a lot of it boils down to what killed the original Jets in Winnipeg, right? Like and the Nordiques too, is corporate sponsorship, man. You got to have those companies buying the boxes and buying the lower bowl seats. And it's a shame, because the flip side is what makes Toronto not all that exciting on like a weeknight, is that it's all corporate seating and they're either empty or it's a bunch of suits, right? But you need that money coming in. And Quebec City, they don't have that type of infrastructure there. And Winnipeg didn't either in the 90s. It's a lot better now, but that's a part of the business. You got to have it, right?
A team I'd like to see back is the Hartford Whalers.
Do you think Hartford could support a team?
No.
All right, I rest my case. But an interesting point, just the same, right? If this was all emotional, I mean, these teams never would have moved.
I guess, I shouldn't say that, because if Winnipeg can support a team, then Hartford can.
How many people live in Hartford? Roughly?
I think it's about the same as, I think
About
it's
a
about
million?
the same, little under a million, probably, like Winnipeg. I don't think Winnipeg's even a million yet, is it? I think Winnipeg's like 600,000, isn't it?
I think it's close to a million. I don't know. Anyway, just whatever. Same kind of struggle, though. Small market team, right?
Yeah. And that's probably, we're probably talking about something we're never going to see again, right?
No, and I mean, that's the thing. Like the healthy franchises now, like it's not like it would have been years and years ago where it's like it's a hockey mad city, so you can plop a team there and then the league grows. With the revenues now and the size of the league, like they're looking to go to places like Vegas, right? Like they want to go where the money is and where they know it's going to be easily supported, which makes sense. Again, it's a business. It's just a shame those of us that clamor for the days of old, right?
I still am surprised it took a sports franchise as long as it did to go to Vegas. Absolutely.
I think it's largely because people don't live in Vegas. They go to Vegas, right? At least that's what I think the perception was for a long time. And lots of people live there, and live in Nevada.
It's huge. But I think what it was is I think leagues were afraid to go there because of the gambling.
Well, that could be it too.
I think that's what stopped it. And finally, NHL's is like, well, whether we're there or not, there's so much online gambling now anyways, we might as well
it doesn't matter, right?
And so they go there and it's like a total cash cow, right? I mean, it's packed every single night. Tickets are stupidly priced. Beer's stupidly priced. And I mean, it's just, it's a go, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Winnipeg, by the way, 750,000. The metropolitan area is 835. So relatively close. Yep.
All right, Flames fans. Toronto in town on Monday. Wednesday, the Edmonton Oilers come in for, what is it? Battle of Alberta Volume 4, I believe, this year.
Yeah, there was one early in the season. Then there was the two at Christmas time.
Yeah,
home and home, and yeah, man, those. Oh God, I've done that freaking game in Calgary. You say like Toronto is coming to town. Literally, Toronto is coming to town.
Yeah.
They're gonna have half the dome guaranteed.
But you know what's going to be fun is they're not very good, and they're feeling every bit of pressure. It'll be a fun night at the Dome on Monday nights, and I think Wednesday likewise will be also fun games for us to watch. And then we go on break, and the break is a long one. Here's some of the Olympic things we need to know. The trade freeze starts 3 p.m. on February 4th. Teams can't practice from February 6th to the 16th. Teams can have full practices after 2 o'clock on the 17th. The Olympic tournament is February 11th through 22nd, and the NHL schedule resumes finally on February 25th with an NHL trade deadline of March 6th. So the time is going to go bonkers fast right now, and it's going to be a hell of a fun stretch drive for a lot of franchises, not the Flames so much, to watch as we go down.
We should also mention the Toronto game is the return of one Ryan Leslie to Calgary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Weird. Stay when you watch a Blackhawks game and you hear Rick Ball, it's still weird to me.
I know, it is. I miss him. I like him. But, you know what? I think we've transitioned pretty well. I really do.
Oh, yeah. I think Rick Ball, had a chance to go into the best markets in hockey because he's one of the best at what he does, right? So, but I'm happy with our team and with our broadcast team, not so much our on-ice product, but in time. All in time. All
part of the plan, right, Kyle? It's all part of the plan.
Ask me again on the end of March 6th.
I am a lot stressed for that. I am a lot stressed. So
we all are. How can we not be, right?
Yeah. One more regular episode as we prepare for the Olympic break. That'll come late this week, early next week. And then we'll head into the Olympic break where you'll still get Flames Unfiltered every single week. A couple special episodes coming at you during that time frame. So keep pulling up your favorite podcast player and checking us out on social media. It's going to be a fun week, a couple big games, and I hope all of you enjoy.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to Flames Unfiltered with Brad Burud and Kyle Lewis, your source for unfiltered Calgary Flames hockey talk. Keep it locked on flamesunfiltered.ca. Subscribe where you get all your podcasts to never miss an episode. Flames hockey talk every week, presented by Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.